All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Course Creator Community Podcast. I'm your host, Jono, and I am super excited because we have an absolute rock star on the line this week. And I know I say that about every guest every week, but this person actually is a rock star. A little bit about her. She helps coaches create passive income. She helps amplify launches for course creators. She's a Facebook ad expert, and she runs her business making 5 figures a month as a single toddler mum. So without further ado, let me introduce the one and only Natalie Martin. Natalie, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me, Jono.
No, thanks for coming on. If you're new to this podcast, Natalie was on a year ago, and that was her first podcast, I believe. And then since then, I've just seen her on podcast after podcast after podcast, and I'm like, I got to get her back on before she gets too famous for me. So here we are. And just before we get into it, what we're going to speak about today is Natalie's story. Essentially, how she went from going from $500 months to 5 figure months. Her expertise is Facebook ads. I've invested in her. Done a few Facebook ad stuff before. She's run ads for me. Very good at it. If you're interested in Facebook ads, I recommend following Natalie on Instagram. I'll put her link below. But I say we dive into it, Natalie. Actually, maybe before we get to the story, just give us a little bit of background. Where are you based? What do you do now?
Awesome. Yeah, well, my name's Natalie. As Jono said, I'm a Facebook and Instagram ad strategist. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. And before I started online, I was a bartender for over 10 years. And
Bartender, don't you have to be over 18 to work in a bar?
yes,
In Canada, can you start when you're 10 or something? Is that how you did it for 10 years or?
I look a lot younger than I am, so thank you.
Sorry,
But yeah,
continue.
no worries. I bartended for over 10 years, and there was a point in my life where I thought that's what I was going to do forever. And then I got pregnant and I had my daughter, and I realized I needed to make a change so that I could both provide for her and also be a part of her life because I wanted to be able to spend those evenings with her. But the evenings was when all the money happened in bartending.
Mm.
So that's kind of the catalyst of what changed my entire life.
All right. Well, let's dive into that, and even maybe go from that point there. So let's say you're working at a bar. You had your daughter. Did you go back to bartending after that, or tell us maybe start there. Give us a bit of detail there.
Yeah, so I started looking into working online when I started my maternity leave because pretty much as soon as I got pregnant, I knew I needed to do something. I couldn't just bartend for the rest of my life.
Mm.
I was getting older. So I started looking into ways to work online. I started getting into like affiliate marketing, and that taught me a lot of things. And then I started learning about becoming a virtual assistant, and
Well,
I started applying.
let's even
Yeah.
detail some of these. So you looked into affiliate marketing. Maybe let,
Mhm.
let let us know your experience there for the listeners as well, because some of them might be thinking, "Oh yeah, affiliate marketing, that could be something I could work." Let us know. I know there's obviously some good things, some bad things. Let us know kind of your experience there a little bit.
Yeah, so affiliate marketing is basically when you sell an offer or product or a service for another company, and then you get a percentage, or you get paid for each sale that's made through your link or through your funnel or whatever that may be. And that's actually how I started learning about Facebook ads,
Mm.
because part of how I was taught how to sell them was to run Facebook ads. And I, as I was learning that, and as I was learning how to be an affiliate marketer, I was learning about Facebook ads, and I was becoming more and more interested in them and realizing that I was spending so much time learning about these and wanting to perfect these strategies and learn how to get the best return on investment and like really optimize my campaigns. And that was kind of the starting point of where I pivoted to becoming a Facebook ad strategist.
Gotcha. Let me ask a couple questions there. When you now, I don't know if you can say this or even just give us a general idea. What kind of products or services were you selling as an affiliate?
Um, we're gonna skip that question.
Okay. Okay, easy. And you were doing it both organically and Facebook ads too?
Yes. So I was like I had my Instagram account and Facebook account, and so I was running it on there.
Was
And
this like a personal Instagram account, or did you have one specifically for the thing you were selling? Or how did that kind of work? Do we skip that too?
yeah, well, this was the affiliate marketing that I didn't want to talk about.
Okay, cool. Let's skip this, then move to
Sorry.
the virtual assistant then.
Okay.
So you went from your affiliate marketing to virtual assistant. Let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I learned a lot of stuff with the affiliate marketing, and I was kind of um, building my skills, learning with that. And from the skills I kind of gained from that, I was able to get some jobs as a virtual assistant working for these small businesses, just basically being their little online assistant, which was really cool because I was working for these businesses that I was really passionate about, but I was working like an hourly job, which I wasn't so passionate about. So I think I was being paid like 20 bucks an hour, which at the time I was really happy about.
Mm.
But I did want to be able to kind of scale that to a bigger point so that I could like have more to give to my daughter and create this life that I've always wanted to give her.
Awesome. Can we dive into a couple questions here on the virtual assistant side of things? Same kind of questions there, like how did you find the clients? Was it things like Fiverr and Upwork? Was it outreach? Was it marketing? And what kind of tasks did you do there?
So I found most of my clients in Facebook groups, like
Okay.
local Facebook groups for the most part, which is actually where I found a lot of my first clients with my Facebook ads business too. But they weren't
Mm,
local groups, they were like online business groups. And as for tasks, I would like reply to emails, help with like back end website stuff, like enter data entry in their CRMs, like lots of little things. For one company, I was making phone calls for her, like just like the little things. It's hard to like think back and remember, but just a bunch of little things. And then I think with one of my clients, I she wanted to start running Facebook ads a little bit, and I told her like if you're willing, I can, since I've been learning them and I have run them in the past, maybe like I could run Facebook ads for her. And so she was like my first unofficial client for
mm.
Facebook ads, and then you were my first like actual client with
Was
Facebook
I your
ads.
first one?
Yeah.
That's why you did such a good job. You're like, this guy's my first one. I need to make sure I look after him.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think and actually, yeah, I'll give my take on this. And then is the next shift from there when you went all in on Facebook ads?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think there's a few key points here on kind of Natalie's story this so far. It's not like she's just woken up and be like, right, I want to do this today. I'm going to make myself an expert on this. And I think we see a lot of that on Facebook. You know, the guy added me yesterday and I looked through his Facebook banners and every month, one week he's a dentist expert, you know, the next week he's a Facebook ad expert, the next week he's a funnel builder, you know. So what kind of Natalie's done is like, and also one of my favorite quotes is don't work to earn, work to learn when working for somebody else, right? It seems like your kind of journey there, Natalie, was like, right, I did the affiliate marketing thing, you know, wasn't great, but I learned some skills. Right, went on this virtual assistant thing. Okay, you know, the money was okay, but the better win was it allowed me to learn these skills here. And then especially with the Facebook ad side thing, because I learned Facebook ads the hard way. I spent my own money on it, you know. But it's with Natalie. I guess you might have with your affiliate side of things, but at least with your first client here, you can test some things out with other people's money, which is a more and then with me as your client, you know. So it's an easier way to kind of test things out. So I think there's some good summaries for the listeners. So, okay, let us know that transition then, Natalie. You're working as a virtual assistant. You're starting to run Facebook ads for one of the companies. How do you transition and go full on into the Facebook ad side of things?
So it's kind of funny. I there was a life situation that happened where I was living in a basement apartment at the time, and then so I live in a duplex, and my landlord sent me a text saying that the upstairs apartment was going to become available, which I was really excited about because I really wanted to move, but it was an additional $500 a month, which is, it's not huge, but it was huge for me at the
Yeah,
time, right? Because I wasn't making a huge amount of money.
yeah.
And I knew in my heart that I had to say yes because I needed the bigger place
Mm,
because my daughter was walking and I'm like, this place is too small for us. So I said yes. And that really put a fire under my ass to
mm,
earn more so that I can be able to afford this place that we can live in. And that's when I started looking into transitioning because I knew I loved Facebook ads. I knew that I was like so passionate about them, spending so much time and money and just energy learning strategies and learning different things about them. So I actually started reaching out to experts in the industry to ask them like if they would mentor me. A friend of mine that I lived in Greece with, Holly Lowe's, I reached
Did
out
you
to
live in
her.
Greece?
Yeah,
Oh
we lived
shit.
in Greece together on a Greek island
Which
for
one? Mykonos?
Corfu.
Corfu. Okay, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I reached out to her and she agreed to mentor me one on one for a few months.
Was that for free?
And
Was it a paid thing? How did that kind of work?
so it was a little bit of both. I did some odd tasks for her business in exchange for the mentorship. So she had more time to mentor me. I would do like
Mm,
the odd tasks that she would ask me to do, which also helped me learn
yeah.
about how to run my own business. And I ended up actually working like as her like junior ads manager for a while, and I worked as a junior ads manager in another online entrepreneur's business, and I learned a lot doing
Mm,
that because I was able to see firsthand what it looked like on the back of another ad strategist business
mm,
and learn from them and learn their strategies and see how they do everything on from two different businesses
yeah.
and really take that into my own business and how I run things myself.
Love that. Well, I think there's a couple key points there. I think it goes back to the work to learn kind of thing, right? It's where it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, I remember you mentioned the wage of $20 an hour, and you're like, oh, that's all right, maybe you could have got something for $40, maybe it could have been a bartending job for $40, but it might have been capped there. Whereas you might be earning way less for learning the Facebook ad side of things, but that skill set is so valuable there. And I like how you just reached out. I think a lot of people are kind of scared to do that. It's like, oh, I want to do this thing, but either scared or proud. Where it's kind of like I'm too scared to ask for help, or I'm too proud to ask for help, or I think I'm smart. Maybe it's even arrogance. I'm smart enough to. I think I'm smarter than this person, so I'm going to try and figure it out on my own. But it's just so hard, especially something like Facebook ads. Like if you try and figure it out on your own, you're going to take years and years and years. But if you work for someone else, you can figure that out pretty quickly. But question with that, did either of them have a problem with you then going out on your own and, potentially, if you're using some of their strategies, or did anything happen there, or how did that work?
No, they're really supportive of like me going off from, well, they knew from the get-go that the point of me like reaching
Yeah,
out to them and helping them was for me to learn how to do this for my own business. And they knew deep down that I was aiming to grow my business to a point where
yeah,
I would kind of grow out of working with them, which like having to say goodbye was really sad.
Mm.
And that was like those were really hard emails to send because I was learning so much and I am so appreciative for everything that I learned from them. But then like you get your business to a point where you're kind of like, do I keep on trading my time for this,
Mm.
or do I exchange it for something bigger and create more abundance in my life? So that was really hard and really scary to do, but making that decision was kind of life changing.
Yeah. Can you share? Are you comfortable sharing maybe some of the numbers of the time where it was like, right, I'm now making X amount on my own business. It's time to leave here, or was it a numbers thing, or how like what kind of made you go from right, I'm working here, but now I'm ready to go on my own? Was it a financial thing, or what was it?
It was actually when I started seeing more consistency in my business, because for a while I was making money, but it would be like a an income roller
Yeah,
coaster where
gotcha.
some months would be huge and some months would be not so huge, and
Yeah.
that was really scary for me. So having that kind of consistency with working for someone else and helping them within their own business was really helpful for me because I knew that was a guaranteed
Mm,
income. But then once I started seeing that consistency in my own business with those really larger numbers, like 5-figure months within my own business, then that's where I got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to let go of this part of my business so that
mm.
it can grow bigger.
Yep, love it. And I think I quite like that as well. I think there's two kind of like messages going out there on the internet. One of them's kind of like, fuck your job, quit today and, be your own, entrepreneur and work for yourself, yada, 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 and go all in, and I kind of get it, but I'm more on the other side. I'm more like, right, let me get this, especially if you got a kid, let me get this
Mhm.
consistency going here. Let me work on my side hustle after hours. Okay, now I'm at a point where I can get rid of this one here and I can live off this side hustle. Great, let me go all in on my side hustle. So I love that. Question here.
Absolutely.
I'm curious here. So you were working for, let's say Holly, you're working for Holly as her junior Facebook ads manager for her business, but you also had your own Facebook ads business on the side.
Yes.
Awesome. How did you get your clients and how did you make sure there was no kind of conflict there?
So I would either find my clients through a lot of my clients come through referrals
Yeah,
or through Facebook groups. So
gotcha.
it would really just be a point like sometimes we would both get like we would both get tagged in the same Facebook group, a Facebook post
Yes.
where someone's looking for an ads manager,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Like we'll reply to it. But I think it's just like that's fine. Like sometimes I'm sure we would get a lot of the same people for discovery calls, but
Yeah.
as long as I'm not like going into her emails and like
Yeah,
poaching
gotcha.
people or like emailing people separately and being like, "Hey, come work for me." Like I would never do that because I it's shady, and
Yeah.
like this person that I'm working for is helping me so much and I'm making money from her working with her
Mm,
clients. So it's not something I would ever do, but it is kind of like once they reach a certain point, then it's either like hers or mine. Like, after the contract is signed, or
yep.
like I'm not going to go into her email and like look
Yeah,
for
yeah. And
people. And
download
yeah,
the database and, send a cold email out there. But if
yeah,
it's
exactly.
gotcha. Okay. But yeah, it's like you're still able to, post in Facebook groups and, if people get referred, you can do it like that. So, all right.
Yeah, like if it's all public and it's in a Facebook group, then that's fine. But then if it's more like behind the scenes, then you kind of there's a line that you don't cross.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to try and summarize this journey because I quite like the journey side of things. And I think if someone's successful, it's quite powerful for someone listening to that to be like, all right, how can I model that person's success journey? I'll share what I hear out of this and let's maybe do a back and forth and see if we're on the same page here. I
Okay.
think like the first thing Actually, I think the first thing before anything is like the desire or the want. Like, I think you need to really want it. Like, if you
Hmm.
only kind of half want it, like if you were like, it'd be nice if I was an entrepreneur. It'd be nice if I could make an extra $10,000 a month from my basement. It's going to be hard, I think you got to like, hey, I'm going all in on this and I'm going to dedicate the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years to making this successful. Your
Yeah,
thoughts? Would you say it starts with the desire or the want?
absolutely. And I think there also has to be something to push you because I had wanted this and I had that desire for so many years. But it wasn't until I had my daughter that I had that
Mm,
extra push and also opportunity because in Canada we have a 1 year mat leave where I had all this time
mm,
where I was able to learn about this, which I didn't have before. Like when I was working full time at the bar, I would always be too tired to put the time in to learn something that could really change my life. But when I was on mat leave, I did have the extra time and I really took it upon myself to use that time in the right way.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I remember mine as well. So mine was a little different. Can't remember how old I was, maybe 26, 27, something like that. And I was working at a gym, working full time at a gym, making $40,000 a year or something. This was, 10, 15 years ago. So the numbers were a bit different, but still, even then, it was still a fairly low wage here in Australia anyway.
Hmm.
Um, and I was kind of getting that age, 27, 28, and I'm like, I should probably look at buying a home, or buying a place, like an investment property. Like, my parents were married, and had a property at 25 or something. I'm getting old, I better go and do it. And I went to the bank and they were like, yeah, no, we can't give you a loan. And I was like, oh, okay, what, I just got to save up a bit more money. And they're like, nah, you got to make more money. Like on this wage here, we can't give you a loan. And that was kind of my boom. I'm like, I'm a loser. I'm 27. I'm on a minimum paying job. And I had a uni degree as well. And I was on a minimum paying job. Can't get a bank. A bank won't give me a loan. I'm never going to get a home. What woman's going to want to be with me? Yada, yada, yada. And that point there, I'm like, shit, I got to do something with my life. So that was my point there. The thing that also kind of helped with me is the first business I ran was like a fitness boot camp at a franchise, and I sucked at it. It was like there were 75 different locations all across Australia and New Zealand, and I was ranked 75, like dead last, right, based on retention and that. Um, and we had to go to this meeting with all the different franchise owners at the end of the year in the Gold Coast, and the head of the franchise kind of gave up and gave us a speech. And I was running the numbers in my head because there were 75 different locations, and each location would paid her $1,000 a week essentially to have it. So I'm running the numbers in my head, and I'm like, hold on, this woman's making $75,000 a week without even running the freaking boot camp. Like, what's she doing here? And then she told her story, and she's like, look, I'm probably the dumbest person here. I dropped out of high school. I didn't have any qualifications, no trades. Started working at Valley Girl. Do you have Valley Girl in Canada? Do you know what that is?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Do you have a store over there that's like that teenagers go and buy like clothes and that? Like usually like 17, 18-year-old girls just go and buy like clothes.
Is it like it has like a lot of like jewelry accessories and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
I
and
think
like,
that might be like our Claire's or our Dean's.
yeah, probably something like that. Just really girly. She's like, I
Yeah.
started working there and then I got fired from Valley Girl. She's like, she's like, I'm a loser. And then she told how she became successful. And I'm kind of like, man, and she was younger than me. She's like 24. And I'm like, man, this chick's 24, high school dropout, no qualifications, got fired from Valley Girl, and she's making $75,000 a week. What the hell is my excuse? So that was, that's what got me motivated there. But I think the next step from there is the skill set, because it's all well and good to want this thing. And this is where I think a lot of people online kind of get it wrong or almost are a little bit fake, because I think there's kind of like a message out there online as well, fake it till you make it. And I'm not sure, I get the sentiment, but I think a lot of people have kind of taken it too far, and of like, I'm sure there's people out there that have never run a Facebook ad before, and they'll say, yeah, I'll run your Facebook ad for you. Or there's someone that's, never helped a course creator with their course launch and never launched a course themselves. But they like the idea of it. So they'll optimize their personal profile and they'll be like, yeah, I'm a course creation specialist, right? You're only gonna get so far doing that. I think the next thing is to get ridiculously freaking good at what you do so you actually deliver results. And I think that's the next kind of thing you did. You spent years learning this. You worked under people. You tested different things. You didn't become a Facebook ad expert just by writing expert in your Instagram bio, like half the people do. You actually became an expert. Would you, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I spent so much time, money, effort. Wow. Because I was learning all of this when my daughter was a baby. And I was a single mom and I didn't have any childcare. So I was doing this while she was like in my arms. I was like breastfeeding her or I had her in her carrier. And a lot of the times, like when she got older, I wouldn't have a lot of time during the day because I would be spending them with her. So I would literally like put her to bed and stay up all night learning and working on my business and like perfecting these things. So it was really difficult and I did spend a lot of time and I was probably tired all the time,
Mm, mm.
but it was worth it because I learned so much and I'm still learning because Facebook ads are always changing
Oh,
and there's so much to continue to learn. And then now I'm also learning TikTok ads too because I
ooh.
want to start running those as well. So like with all these new platforms that come out and all these changes that happen, like the learning never stops, but
Mm.
it's having that foundation first and really building upon that.
Yep. Now for this is an interesting one if I put it in the course creator space, because I think this is something that can be quite hard for course creators. And I might actually get your opinion on this too, because I know you work with a lot of course creators yourself. Um, it can be very hard as a course creator to create a course if you haven't done like essentially if you haven't helped someone else, because there's a lot of what'll happen with a lot of course creators is they'll be good at something themselves. Hey, I'm a, whatever, a good piano player, or I'm a good parent, or maybe they've got that skill set themselves, but they haven't necessarily gone out and helped a whole heap of other people do it. So I think that's a kind of interesting one in the course creator space. So I'm just curious to get your opinion there, Natalie, because I think from your side of things, you were able to do these Facebook ads and run these Facebook ads and run them from other people and get results there and then kind of do it. What would you say to a course creator, and what do you see? Do you think it's important that the course creators maybe done some one-on-one coaching before they create the course, or do you think it's important maybe they've taught the course, under someone else or at a school or something once? What's your take there? And I know it's a
I
tough
think
question, but I'm just curious on your opinion.
Yeah, I think that doing some one-on-one mentoring absolutely helps so that you can kind of break down the different, I guess, like modules in your
Mm,
course, right? Because you have to break it down into kind of bite-size bits so that people can digest them and
mm,
understand what they're learning and then also kind of put it into play and put it into practice because I know like when I first started running Facebook ads, I could run them, but teaching someone else how to do them at the time wasn't really something that I was able to do. But then I started, like, as I grew my business, I started offering like strategy sessions
that's a good tip
where I
too.
would teach people and eventually like coaching calls where I would train people with ads and then started developing. I have like had a mini course so I've slowly been building that. But yeah, I think it starts with like mentoring people one on one
Mm,
and maybe like getting feedback from them
yeah.
and seeing like if there was something else you wanted to teach me or wanted me to teach you, what would that be? Or like
Mm,
what would you want to me to elaborate on and kind of like building out a curriculum and
mm.
seeing what pieces are in there.
and it works. There's a couple good things there as well, and that can be done for free as well. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm comfortable to charge someone for that, that can be your free thing. You know, hey, you get a free
Mm-hmm.
strategy session. Here you go. Hey, you like it? Great. Here's my 10-week coaching program. You know, we'll do one of these a week for 10 weeks, you know? Or hey, you join my membership or buy my course or whatever it is. It can lead into a sale there. But the key thing there, I think you can get good feedback from doing it. You can also get testimonials. So let's say you do it and it's not great. Okay, cool. You got some feedback. Oh, I better learn this. I better take this out. I better do that. Say you do it and it's great. Hey, Natalie, you don't mind leaving me a testimonial, do you? Yeah, let's take the video here. Or hey, Natalie, here's my Facebook page. You don't mind leaving a testimonial there. So I think that's a good tip there. Now, in terms of marketing, Natalie, now you can answer this how you want as well. So it sounds like you grew organically. It's kind of like you grew your Facebook ads business more organically than anything, which is interesting. But I do think it's like I think it is the best way to do it for Facebook ads as well because it's just so competitive in that space. You know, you run an ad, it's going to be. But anyways, that's another discussion. Let's say for a course creator, right? Let me think of the best way to frame this. I'm going to ask it in two ways and answer it how you will.
Okay.
A course creator, what's the best way for them to start marketing, in your opinion? Or you could also answer it, when is a course creator ready for Facebook ads?
Okay. I mean, I I am a firm believer of really perfecting your organic strategies before moving on to Facebook ads because you really want to know who your ideal client is and how to communicate with them online and what really works for them before you start putting money behind what you're doing. So I think just like starting organically, like Instagram and TikTok are huge platforms where it's
Mm,
like you can reach so many people these days and you don't actually have to pay for ads. And then once you see what really works there, and you start making money from it as well
mm,
and like have a funnel behind it and everything, then you can start putting money behind it with the ads.
yes. Yeah, good points. I agree. I'm torn on that one. I agree with what you're saying. I'll give my take on that there. So I think you've got to pay either way. You either pay with your money or you pay with your time. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like option number one is go organically and go, Instagram and TikTok and just post good content. And obviously other things as well. I'm not that big on those platforms, but my guess is post good content, do collaborations, do joint lives, get shout outs, maybe use some hashtags, get engagement going, like, do a course on it, if you want to learn it properly. But yeah, do that. So you're growing your following. You see what gets people, clicking. I'm more a Facebook guy, Facebook group guy. But I use similar strategies there where it's like, hey, I released this podcast on this topic there. Comment below if you're interested. If I get 0 comments, well, I'm not creating a course on that. If I get 100 comments, okay, there's interest in here. Let me create a course or a mini course. It's a good kind of way to test. I think the down point with that is it's a heap of time. Like to get good at it, you're spending a heap of time. I think you maybe, but this is the tricky part. I'm looking at it on someone who's done a lot of Facebook ads before. So from my side of things, I'm like, you know what? If I was starting new, I would maybe throw some dollars on Facebook ads, but because I know like how it works and that, just because I can't be bothered spending hours on TikTok and that. Um, but yeah, I get the other side as well. Where I think if you're not confident with Facebook ads, there's so many ways you can blow your money if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know
And
your organic message. Because it's like, you'll stuff up the Facebook side of things because you won't know the targeting and the headlines and the copy and the images that work. But even if you somehow fluke and manage to manage that, if you got a bad offer or a bad course, or a bad funnel with bad emails, you're making no money anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, a huge thing is also like a lot of people who are just starting their business, they
They don't
have
have,
the time and they
yeah,
don't have the money
that's a good
because they're
point.
at a point where they don't have the clients and
Yeah,
they have so much more time than money. And then you
that's a
kind
good
of
point.
grow to a point where you have money, but you don't have time. So
Yeah.
you start paying other people to do things for you.
That's a very good point because it's not like Yeah, because that's the thing. It's kind of like I look at it, man, I'd rather pay an extra $1,000 than 2 hours a day, you know. But I'm sure if someone's starting off, $1,000, I don't have that. I'm spending 2 hours a day. So I think that's
Absolutely.
a very good
Yeah.
point there.
Because
Um,
I have like my social media manager who helps me run my Instagram, and she's amazing. And
mm,
even like
that's
with
your
my
Instagram is
own,
great, by the way. I've noticed that. I've
thank
noticed
you.
that jump. You know, I don't know when I saw when you started to put a bit more effort in there, and it was like, oh yeah, Natalie's starting to do some stuff. It's pretty cool. You know, and I'd watch kind of the I'm like, oh, it's getting a bit of traction, not too bad. But now I'm like, shit, this is really good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't do it without the help from my social media manager either, because I just don't have the time or
Mm,
energy to put so much focus into it. And even in my personal life, I've started like hiring a meal prep service and
mm,
have help with cleaning and stuff
yeah.
because I'm a single mom. And now that I'm making more money in my business, time is really important to me, and having
Mm.
more time in my day to spend time with my daughter and do things that I really like. So it's really about like seeing how much time something will take you and seeing if it's worth hiring someone else to do it for you.
100%. I think it's key in the personal life as well, especially
Hmm.
the cleaner example. So what does the cleaner cost over there? 50 an hour or something like that? Maybe less, 40 an hour,
Yeah, about 30 an hour.
30 an hour. Yeah. So it's kind of like, even
Hmm.
for the people listening, even if you're non-entrepreneur, if you're making more than $30, I guess probably for an entrepreneur, but you know, if you're making more than $30 an hour, it doesn't make sense to clean your own place. Like let's say you charge $100 for a coaching session or whatever it may be. It doesn't make sense for you to spend a couple hours, let's call it 2 hours a week cleaning your house. It
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you just, instead of cleaning your house, pay a cleaner to do it? Yeah, okay, you're spending $60, but in that time, do an extra couple coaching calls and you're making $200. Like it doesn't make sense, you know? So I think obviously, as you mentioned, when you're starting off, save every dollar you can. But once you kind of got that money coming in, look at different ways to leverage both personal and business. So love
Yeah,
that tip.
because I was thinking about this today. It's like, look at how much something costs if it's something per hour, and think about like how much is my own time worth to
Mm,
me. And unless you genuinely love to do it, like if
yeah,
you
of
love
course.
cleaning, and I know people who do, then obviously clean your house. But
Yep.
I don't love it. I do
Yeah.
it, but I don't love it.
Yeah. 100%. Agree. Well, Natalie, that's pretty much all I wanted to get through today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people listening to this and they're like, this woman is awesome. She's inspirational. I want to follow her. I want to get Facebook ad advice. Is Instagram the best place to go? And if so, give your Instagram a plug.
Yes, you can always find me on Instagram. I post on there every single day. My Instagram handle is Natalie Ann Ads.
Awesome. And I'll put that in the show notes. Natalie, that's all I wanted to get through today. Is there anything I should have asked you but forgot to, or anything you want to finish us off with?
Um, I think just like if you are starting a business, I think my biggest piece of advice, I learned this recently. Um, if you have your business and you have like a slow point in your business, don't take that as like a bad thing, because sometimes like slow points in your business really give you more time to learn. I think we covered this
Mm,
in our conversation today, where when you have more time, that gives you more time to learn, which gives you this opportunity to really expand your business and grow your business even more than it is today.
I'll expand on that. It also gives you time to think. So that's
Hmm.
what I do a lot of the time now as well. If I've got a couple out, like there's two ways to look at it. It's like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm doing all this work. But it's like, if I'm not doing all that work, it gives me time to think, what's the next idea? What's the next course? What's the next advertising style? And that can give quantum leaps as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Natalie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.